Hello everyone, I am Suvarna Bhatt. I am leading Bhumiputri, a unique initiative of Kadamba Foundation for farmers and agripreneurs. Like-minded friends, entrepreneur leaders came together in running Bhumiputri.
They have done a tremendous job. Of course, we have done a tremendous job because I also associated with Bhumiputri in the early stage. In the evolving stage, many things will fall in place, and during that journey, there are a lot of challenges we encountered. Overcoming all these challenges, evolving with a model to engage the communities, especially the women who are enthusiastic to work in the fields, work in the grounds. So when we say women in agriculture, it is not that everybody is going to the farm and work in the farm, but farming is one dimension of agriculture. So the pre-harvest, post-harvest, the food processing, and MSMEs around the agri. These are all the ecosystem built around that. So Bhumi Putri works in this holistic manner. So with that background, sticking to the topic, future of work, connecting to what Kavita ma'am has said, women development cell in Poda College is not about the grievances, but looking beyond the development part. So the development in today's context is about a future of work, especially the campus audience, the graduating students, pre-final year, and even the first year. This is the best time for you to think of future of work because you have the infrastructure, you have the facilities, you have the learned uh, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. And this was created due to pandemic. Now, today is different, future is different, but in this transition, today and future, we do not have much time. We need to prepare today to work for tomorrow. That is the future, actually. The 1.5 years, the pandemic period, it has accelerated what we thought otherwise would have taken 5 years, 6 years, 6 years, or 10 years to bring this transformation. What transformation? Transformation of technology, transformation of digital uh, transformation, digital way of life. Actually, Industry 4.0 is a much talked about subject. The emerging technologies, it is emerged already. We have artificial intelligence in place. You call it as machine learning, deep learning, are adopted by many companies, organizations, startups heavily now. There is a saying that any startup looking for an incubator, if they do not include AI in their presentation, then they are knocked out. That is the way the kind of technology penetration happening in the world, and that is the future. So augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, then we have 3D printing, we have energy sector developments. So different dimensions of technologies are evolving. A lot of work has been done in a recent 4 to 5 years or so, and during pandemic also, lot of work happened in this particular area, especially from the implementation perspective. The blockchain, so-called distributed ledger technology, though it was blamed for or abused for its cryptocurrency association, but as a technology, this is a game changer, especially in fintech, in the banking. So future of work is about this area. Of course, quantum computing though we are not realized much practically, but again, that is hitting upon the world very fast and very hard, actually, because the kind of change it is expected to bring is very drastic, impactful. Now, future of work is about the change happening. What is that change? I just explained the emerging technologies, but practically, workforce has changed. What is the workforce? The new generation is entering the workforce. Who are the new generation? You are the new generation. In India, every year, around 2 crore youth turn 18 years of age. What does it mean? They become work eligible. They compete with each other to get their space in the employment domain. Now, when such is the large volume, where do they get work from? Do you think the industries can feed them? The government can feed them? No way. Instead, the workforce volume is such a high volume, and the nature of workforce has changed. Aspirations of the youth has changed. They're not like their parents. They're not like their grandparents. They're not, their aspirations are not similar to what their father or mother was aiming for in their respective ages, early, career seekers. So what is that has changed? The industrialization, last 30, 35 years, whatever the change you have seen with respect to the computers, software, hardware, networking, electronics, mobile, all this, industry 3.0, probably, we have harvested most of this industry 3.0. Now, that was the impact on the previous generation, where your parents are they have grown up with, so their aspirations during that period was something different. We see nucleus families, likely both the parents are working and they have one or two kids, and these kids are pampered. The parents said, we don't want to give you any trouble, any hardship to our children that we went through. Instead, they are providing cushion. They are giving almost everything what is required to this youth, and that is the result, that youth aspirations have changed. Now, what you are trying to build, you are not probably struggling for hand to mouth. You have some cushion to move on, to think big, to do something more than your earning salary or so. So this is the new aspirations. And same way, because of the implementations of technology, work style is changed. Workforce has changed, work style has changed, the way with which services are delivered, the way with which the product is manufactured, the way with which service, the pre-sales or post-sales or the product service are carried out are changed. And that is the work style. Gradually we are moving into tele mode. So we go to office, we go to factory, we go to workplace only when absolutely necessary. Otherwise, we don't go. A company has realized the need for the same, and even the aspirations of the youth are matching to the same, and that has brought the change in work style. So workspace is changing. I don't know, in Mumbai, you have witnessed the emergence of so-called co-working spaces every nook and corner of the city. The old legacy style of working in a corporate with cabins and closed stuff is no more valid. Co-working spaces, shared workstations, shared infrastructure are available now. And bigger companies, including MNCs, are opting for co-working spaces. Per seat, they charge around 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, and premier spaces are being sold for 8,000, 10,000, 12,000 spaces. The companies have realized that instead of investing on a heavy infrastructure, on building infrastructure, so this pantries, your cooling, heating, and whatnot, all kind of fancy the office ecosystem. They said when it is readily available, all that you need to do is on demand, you hire the workstation at the nearest place and start working from, because that physical togetherness may be required for a small team. So a small team of 4 to 8 people, and that 4 to 8 people team need not travel all the way 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers in a city to just to reach the office. Instead, they occupy the nearest co-working place which has been hired by the company, and they started operating. To give you one best example, Wipro did this. They opened small offices of their own across Delhi NCR. Of course, today that the same model is provided by third party as a co-working space. Earlier, co-working spaces were not there, so they owned such smaller places. So that is the thought process, and that saves a lot of commuting time, that saves a lot of fuel, that saves a lot of energy also from the employees, where their productivity can increase when they reach to the nearest office and start working from. So when this is the change happening, so what is the future of work? Future of work is about working in a team. No more the jobs are solo, very rare. Very few jobs are executed by individuals. Instead, every job, because of its complexity, there is a team involvement. A team of 3 people, team of 4 people, team of 8 people who are bringing the complementary skill, work together to execute a set scope of work. Each scope of work has a budget and timeline, and that is how they started working in a team. Because of the technology, because of artificial intelligence, most of the conventional work, the good old jobs what our parents used to do, those are done by machines. Those are done by robots. Those are done by drone. Those are done by some sort of automation. So the conventional jobs are out. The youth who are in the campus now cannot aim for such conventional jobs at all. So they have to look for something new profile, new job role, which probably is not known to your faculties, not known to you, not known to the industry themselves, because they themselves are changing. So there is a new role which is being defined, new work profile which is being defined, and future of work is about preparing for such works in a team. A team of 4 people, when I said, probably there are 2 human agents and 2 machine agents. A team of 4, you have 2 machines and 2 human workers working together to execute a job. That is the future of work. I just took one example as a technology area, because everything is connected now. IoT, Internet of Things, you said, all the machines, all the automation pieces, including the delivery stuffs. To take the simplest example, in COVID, we had the sanitizers being used everywhere. To dispense the sanitizer, the ordinary sanitizer machines were integrated with IoT component, and every ml which is being dispensed is accounted, is measured, is controlled, is monitored. And the large organizations, say hospital, when there are hundreds of sanitizers used at different locations, places, so all these sanitizers are interconnected through IoT. And there is a single dashboard coming to the authority where the liquid has exhausted, or where it has come to a critical level, where it needs immediate replenishment. So such granular level, minor level of operations executions are being automated, are being disrupted by technology. So what do you do as a fresh graduate coming out of your campus? What role you take? What kind of job profile you seek? So that is the preparation what you have to do now. So I hope another 5 minutes or so, let me connect you to the other part of the future of work as a preparation. I gave the picture of complexity. I gave the picture of the difficult part of future of work. But what is the easy part? What is that you can do at your level without worrying about, without getting into depression, without getting into or without panicking? Hey, we don't know what's happening, and we don't know what career or what course or what kind of growth we will have. No. So there is a simple formula. Basically, as a country, India has billions of problems. Now, solving these problems, government alone is not responsible. They can't do it. Corporates, they can't do it. So it is the combination of community, government, corporates, all nodal agencies, all stakeholders have to come together and solve this problem. And these problems are solved by startups. You might have read many articles, many publishing papers, many news from the government also, department also, that there is something called as a startup fever which is caught up. So it is not that you don't get a job and you start some venture. No, these startups are created, are started with a purpose. The purpose is to solve the problem. What problem? We have world problems. What are the world problems? United Nations SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So all countries have come together to define that these are the pressing problems, 17 problems. Under each problem, there are subcategories, around 190 different problems they have identified. They said these are the priorities to be solved. And this is the last decade to solve these problems. Otherwise, it's kind of an emergency. So by 2020 to 2030, this is the last decade which has been marked for that. So if you aim at solving the world problem, global problem, you have these as a problem to take to work. We have our own country problem. Bharat, metro cities, plenty of problems are there. Smart cities they started creating, but not all of them are successful. Still, it continues. Every day, the citizens in metro cities face problems. Citizens in rural area face problems. So let us solve our country problem. This country problem could be your own state problem. It could be your district problem. It could be your village problem. It could be your locality where you are staying, or it could be home problem at home, problem with the family. There are. So you pick up one such problem, you start solving these problems. You cannot do it individually. You make a team, like-minded people with complementary skills come together, start working on it. That's all is required. This is absolutely doable, and this is happening. Many good things happen, and this is the future of work. Now, let me give you a small piece just to confirm that you as an individual, you as a student in the campus can do it. Ikigai is a gift from Okinawa region of Japan. They are known for longevity. You know, almost everybody, they live for more than 100 years. The secret of success is Ikigai, the way of life they have defined for themselves and they have gifted it to the world. Now, many books, many contents are available on Ikigai, but for my reference, for you to understand what it is, there are 4 questions you need to ask yourself. What I love, or in other way, what you love, what you are good at, what you can be paid for, what the world needs. On one side, we understood now what the world needs. If I start solving the world problem or my country problem or my village problem, my city problem, what you can be paid for? Can somebody pay for me? Government, corporate, CSR, or our own community, or some beneficiary who is being helped, whose problem is being solved? Can he pay? She pay? So what you can be paid for has to be assessed, understood. You keep solving the problem, but if it is a charity, if it is without economic angle, without, it cannot be attached to some commercial value, then how long can you do it? Do you have tons of money with you that you spend everything from your pocket? Something impossible. Not everybody can do it. So the mass, the common citizens, have to think from the economic perspective, what you can be paid for. Understand that, realize the actual value, and get that actual value for solving the world problem, for solve or giving what the world needs. Then, okay, you solve this problem, you can be paid for also, but are you good at? Okay, specifically from our Bhumiputri, we have agri domain. There are more than 28 incubators in the country connected to RKVY Raftar scheme. We have PM FME on the food sector. Up to 10 lakh financing is done to, transform the small food processing. Then we have KVIC and the MSME sectors. A lot of schemes are available. So any questions in this regard? So your ideation, your idea, transforming your idea into launch stage, the accelerators, incubators, mentors, anything you can ask. We are open to that, not just limited to slides and the presentation. So one thing, actually, entrepreneurship is not a spectator's game. You have to involve, you have to indulge, you have to start doing it. Obviously, I understand the scenario wherein a lot of digital bombarding is done, and the audience are not so happy to engage 1 hour 90 minutes kind of sessions. So that window has come down, but even then this is a good opportunity, because I'm from Noida. I'm Lucknow Noida campus. Pratima from Bangalore, or Shobha, she works in Mumbai, and she shuttles down between Karnataka and Mumbai. So we are exposed to the different, work domains, different environments. We bring different dimensions of thoughts. So it's an opportunity for all of you.
Do you want to share some views on today's session?
Yeah, definitely. I'll come in here because as I teach you, people, all my students are there. They begin their first year with my subject of business development. So I would like to add here that how I grow my students to inculcate them that how we get this multinational products from the capitalist nation, and we are being into a mixed economy. That is how we can it will increase the capitalization ratio in our mixed economy. It's only in the hands of new generation. We don't have to depend upon the other multinational company coming in the form of product and selling that and making us as a buyer. So I tried to do, I had initiated this entrepreneur development sale 5 years back in our college, where yes, you had shown the government aids slide, where we are already associated with NIESBUD, where they are from the Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, where they give the workshops on startups, and their certificates works for the student to come up with the bank loan at the very lowest rate of interest. So we have initiated this, and again, to help our student with the venture capital, we have a list of our alumni who are industrialists now. We are having the big businesses, and they're helping our new generation to come up, and they support them with the venture capital. This is what we are already doing this in our entrepreneur development cell. As a teacher, subject teacher of business, 3 years back, when the project works were not there, I used to make a group of the students, ask them to invest their 500, 10 people in the group. Those students are not there now, they just passed out. And when they have this fund, they have to have a 1 day business, 1 day market in the college, and they have to see how much profit they make it, and they have to share the profit. Whatever they sell, it's going to be happening as selling, because we are sellers market. People come and sell their products in our country. Of course, we have to have good R&D, the industrial sector developed here, where we don't depend upon the other country technology. And deficit and all, every aspect I teach them as a business part. All this was been covered very nicely to inspire them to come forward to take up the business, because people believe that once they take a commerce graduation, they should just going for a job. And it's very rare. Of course, I can say that 90% of the students from our college are from business class, and they opt for CA, they opt for business, their family business. They go abroad to do some additional studies so they can help their business. I really like to say my student have a nice sense of business initiative, where under entrepreneurship development, we have tried to guide them about the woman entrepreneurship. Of course, they every woman has some of the other skill which can be developed as a future entrepreneur. Yeah, as a business teacher, I appreciate Sashida was saying about the change in the emerging technology, where you can't have your profile. You have to change your profile from conventional way of working towards the automation way of working. I thoroughly agree with that. Students should take up this, that tomorrow's is of AI, that is artificial intelligence, and you have to groom your education or professional qualification towards that. Either it is you're doing a business or you're going to work for some other organization, you have to develop yourself. So we were looking forward too much for this Bhumi Putri and the schemes behind, and how we can, encourage our girls towards the food processing scheme, which you spoke in a very fastest. I made a note of it, some 10 lakhs and food processing scheme. If you just give more details on it, where my most of the colleagues and my students were attracted towards this Bhumi Putri aspect. What this about?
Yeah. So, ma'am, actually, I would like to connect Israeli culture to your college campus. Israel, one of the colleague, he was telling that the moment an Israeli turns 18 years, they have to join military defense, mandatory 2 years service at the defense. That is where they are rigorously being trained, as a defense personnel. The moment they finish their 2 years period, many of them come out of defense service. They get some lump sum amount. He said something around 3,000 USD is the equivalent amount. Now, most of them spend this money to roam around the world. They go on a tour, either solo or in a group. They see the world. On one side, they get equipped. It is a rigorous training, military training they get. On the next phase, they are exposed to the world. And that is the time they come back. They hook on to some startup idea, they start working. And Israel as a startup culture is the highest successful startups. That is what we can replicate in your campus, because you said most of the students are from business families. So they have to come out of their comfort zone, because businessmen, their families, sometimes what happens, they remain within their comfort zone, not exposed to the hardship of the world, realities, etc. So somewhere this program should connect to such, exposing them, taking them outside the comfort zone, exposed to the realities of the world, and then start with some sort of a venture, and that can bring the best asset to the campus, ma'am. Just a thought. Bhumiputri can help in this regard. We can connect your students to the farmers who are actually growing crops, doing different parts of the agri cycle.
So I would like to know how the approach should be towards my students so that we can form a group and inspire those girls who will be interested to take up this other project in
Yes.
future.
Yes. So we can do some sort of a buddy system where a student from the campus will be a buddy to one of the
Yes,
farmer
yes.
in the field, and
Okay.
it need not be two people, it can be 2 to 4 people, and from there they start brainstorming what can be done, what is the opportunity, and how it can be grown to big, etc. That's the best thing to happen, because once in a way they can visit the farms also, and the farmer can come to the city and stay with these people, so we can make arrangements. So these are the best thing to happen. So if there are any ideas from the campus, RKVY Raftar scheme, ideal level, there is a 5 lakh grant, up to 5 lakhs, they say. And if somebody has progressed already, if there are any prototypes or MVP kind of a level.
Thank you so much, sir, for thinking about and sharing your views about the future for work. Thank you, Shobha ma'am, for making us understand the pros and cons of 9 to 5 job. Thank you, Pratima ma'am, for talking about micro enterprises and explaining us the importance of micro enterprises. This webinar, organized by WDC of RA Poda, was really informative and with full of motivation. We, as budding youth, will surely follow to your guidelines and help people around us, give back to the society, and try to serve our country with lots and lots of new innovation and helping our country to excel and develop more. Thank you so much. I would like to ask Aditi Gaikwad to take over.
Good afternoon, all. I'm Aditi Gaikwad. As all good things come to an end in life, so has this seminar. On behalf of Women Development Cell of R.A. Poda College of Commerce and Economics, I want to take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks to all those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this seminar. So, on Bhumiputri, Future of Work, organized by our institute and the members of Kadamba Foundation. At the outset, I want to thank our prime speaker and resource person, Shashidhar sir, Shobha ma'am, and Pratima ma'am. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. We are thankful to our teacher in charge, Dr. Mrs. Tejashi Patankar ma'am, for the motivation. I would also like to thank our honorable principal ma'am, Dr. Mrs. Shobhana Vasudevan ma'am, for her enthusiasm and her support. A special thanks to organizing committee, teacher staff for the unflinch support and the coordination. Our heartfelt gratitude to all the students who have actively participated. With these warm words and kind message, we move to the end of today's seminar. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great day ahead. Yes, so the students will be getting the credit as well as the certificate for attending the webinar. And if
Thank you
Thanks,
so much,
Tejasvi ma'am.
ma'am.